From PickDogs.com here with your live show. Of course, we're live 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Of course, we got tons of YouTube videos. Did 11 NBA, 10 college basketball, so 21 videos just for today's games. And I'll be doing plenty more for tomorrow. Later on today, we have the first ever Puck Dogs show where it's just Puck Dogs. We have a lot of NHL today. 9 NHL games, so the Puck Dogs will have plenty to talk about. That show is going to be about 3:15 Eastern Time. So 3:15 Eastern Time, the Puck Dogs will be on. At least that's the plan, the last I spoke to them. So I'm hoping that they're still on board with it. But hopefully you guys are off to a nice morning. I honestly think it's going to be a very high scoring game tonight. I think over on that. You have the two best kickers in the entire NFL. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of punting. I just don't. Last year we saw the Rams and the Chiefs light it up on a Monday Night Football game. We're going to move to a hybrid style show on here. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask them. It's Team A versus Team B with a point spread. But if it's a game that I've already covered or like there's a video on or I don't, whatever, I'm only going to take some questions. I'm not going to take them all. It's one per person. But anyways, yeah, I think tonight has that possibility. I just do. But then again, been a little chilly lately over here, so yep. Puck Dogs 3:15 ish. Tomorrow I might struggle with that time. We're gonna have to figure something out. Tomorrow might be a different time. Tomorrow might have to be early morning or something. Or later. I'll talk to the guys about it. I didn't think about it. I have stuff going on. But of course, like I said, tons of free pick videos on YouTube. Tons and tons. And we have a ton of games going on today. This is one of the best weeks of sports that there is. It's definitely, that college football on Friday is huge. Tomorrow's only 2 games, Rod is saying, so it would be a quick show anyway. So it'll probably be a little bit later. I'll have to find out. Of course, I'll be live tonight at halftime for Monday Night Football. And by then, we'll have it figured out. Yeah, if you have a question, it's Team A versus Team B with a point spread. I'm not sure how much clearer I can make that. I guess I can make it a little bit bigger. Let me see if I do this one. If I look at this and I make it a drop smaller. Do that. And then if I do, so that would allow me to do this one, drop bigger. There we go. I like the over in tonight's game. I just think we're going to have a ton of points. As good as both of these defenses are, I think this is the shootout game. Like last year, we had the Chiefs and the Rams that lit up the scoreboard. I think this one has the chance to do the same things. I really do. The Ravens are absolutely rolling, and the Rams are going to have to open it up to even try and hang with them. This game's in the premium area. Yep, there's a lot of hockey, and we're going to have a special Puck Dog show. The new Puck Dog show today at 3:15 Eastern Time. Might be closer to 3:30, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. It's first time, and I think you guys are really going to like it. So be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and sign up for those notifications. I think Rod and Chris will post in the Facebook group as well, and we'll send out a tweet. So if you follow us on Twitter and all that other stuff, we'll send out a tweet letting you guys know that the show is ready to go live, so everybody knows. Anyways, not a lot of questions, so I'll just roll into some games here. NBA has 11 games on tap. I did a ton of videos today. I got 3 premium picks, but aside from that, I think one of the games that I'm really looking at here is the Bucks and the Jazz. And as much as I like the Jazz and the way that they're playing and the style that they play, I think this is a really, really bad spot for them. The Bucks are absolutely rolling, 13-3 on the season, just 3-3 against the number at home, but 9-1 straight up in their last 10. Only 4-6 against the spread. But the Jazz, while they're a good team and they win a lot of games, they don't cover a lot of point spreads. They just don't. I think the Jazz, what they have is that dilemma of the team that's really good, but doesn't score a lot doesn't win by a lot, right? So they don't cover spreads that you would expect of a good team, and that's a problem. It's like the differential between points scored and points allowed is like 3 or 4 points. So any spread like beyond that amount that they're favored by is a reach for this team. And we're seeing it in the numbers. They've been horrible on the road against the number 2, just 2-5 against the spread. Meanwhile, the Bucks, like I said, they're rolling right now. They're averaging 120 points a game. I like the Jazz a lot this season. They're 11-5 straight up. But I like the Bucks in this game. Keep rolling right along. Loyola Chicago versus South Florida. Another interesting game. South Florida pretty good this season. Let me see what I can do with these. Why is that not showing up that size? Let's see something. These are the questions have gotten like smaller and smaller. There we go. So Loyola Chicago versus South Florida. Loyola, of course, in the Final Four 2 years ago. South Florida, this is a team that plays hard, and we've seen them play hard already this season. 2-2. Loyola 3-2. South Florida getting 1.5. This game's got a 1:30 Eastern time start. I love daytime weekday sports. Loyola's won their last 2 after losses to Coppin State and Furman. They were 22.5-point favorites against Coppin State and lost outright by 4. So people talk about these big upsets, and the Evansville, Kentucky upset. The upset of Coppin State over Loyola, Illinois, statistically is pretty close to that. It's very, very close. Same thing with South Florida. They were, listen to this one, 17-point favorites over Indiana, Purdue. This is actually worse. 17-point favorites against Indiana, Purdue. They lost by 17. So they were 17-point favorites, lost by 17. Horrific. 6.5-point favorites against Boston College, lost outright. Winners over Wofford by 14 points last time out. Tough to figure out this South Florida team. Loyola Chicago, finally a lot of those guys that we knew from 2 years ago are now gone from this team. Meanwhile, South Florida averaging just 63 points a game, and that's really where it all, the problem is. So the issue I have with South Florida, well, one of the issues besides, they only allow 60 points a game, which is nice, but you can't win games with tight point spreads when you shoot 55.7% from the line. 55.7% from the line. That's worse than some teams shoot if you watch the Dog of the Day video, the team that I picked in the Dog of the Day video shoots 41% from the three-point line. These guys shoot 55% from the free throw line. Loyola Chicago. Loyola Illinois. VCU minus 26.5 against Alabama State. Alabama State is absolutely horrible this season, and teams are rolling it up on them. I think VCU flexes their muscle here. I'm not even going to look at the numbers. This is a mismatch. Alabama State's terrible. They lost by like 30-something to Tennessee. They stink. I'm not saying Tennessee is bad. I'm just saying. Yeah, I did a video on this, and you can check it out on YouTube. Arkansas minus 1.5 versus Georgia Tech. I almost did a video on this game, and I didn't do it. I just thought there was too many other more appealing games than this. So when I do the YouTube videos, I kind of have to pare it down a little bit because there's so many of them I'm doing. Like there was 11 NBA. So Georgia Tech is now +1. Arkansas 5-0 and 5-0 against the spread. Georgia Tech, the loss to Georgia, they covered the spread in that game. It opened at 4.5. They had a guy that was out, so it went to 6, and they got it done. Their losses are Notre Dame and Georgia. So when they've played against the good teams, they haven't held up. Meanwhile, Arkansas hasn't played much, but now when you start to look back at that schedule, the win over North Texas is actually starting to look a little better. Montana, South Dakota. These are not the horrible of horrible teams. I like Arkansas in this one. I like them big. I think that's a strong play. I'm going to put an asterisk next to it. People always ask, what's your best of your free picks? That could be it. So we're going to sort of to the free-for-all format. I'm going to just skip over, games that we, I'm just going to go here and there on it. I'm with you, Bobby. I've been ice cold. I admit it. I know it's like the worst part is like when not only are you picking games bad, like the Packers last night, it's like you have other games like Ohio State and BYU against UMass where the team's clearly covering the spread, and then they end up not covering. Those are really the ones that kill you. And I think I've been a little favorite heavy, if you ask me. I've been a little heavy on the favorites. And when I do that is when I always get into trouble, and I say it all the time. So I don't know why I do that, but let's get into another free pick. If it's a big game you're asking about, and I'm not answering it here on the show, it just means there's a video out there. We're doing the sort of free-for-all format, sort of like a hybrid. We're just not going to go over the stuff that, I don't feel like going over because I've gone over it a bunch of times. But like Michigan State, Virginia Tech, all the Hawaii games, except for Kansas. Chaminade, there's videos out there on YouTube that I've already done, and I've gone into like explicit detail on those videos. I'm going to do another pick on my own here. I'm going to look at this. This is a game that I considered doing a premium pick on. We got the Pistons hosting the Magic, and the Pistons have been absolutely hideous lately. They've lost 6 of their last 7 games, and the one win was at home against Atlanta. But when we look at the losses in the 6 of the last 7 for the Pistons, I usually like to look at who they're playing, right? So here are the losses that they took. At Minnesota, at Chicago, at Charlotte, at Miami, Minnesota at home, at Indiana. So of those teams, I would say the only losses in there, Charlotte and at Charlotte, they lost by 3. And then the other one that I was thinking was at Chicago, but I liked Chicago in that game. So, those are the only 2 really bad losses in the bunch. Everything else is on the road against a playoff team. Yeah, we're all going to get back on track. Everyone's been cold. we're all going to get back on track. We always do. We just stay the course. And it's like I think sometimes I start to shift a little bit, and I shift in my thinking, and I think I've done that. I know that. I've also, I never have excuses, but I can't even tell you what's going on behind the scenes. I can't even, I don't think I'm allowed to tell you, but it's just absurd. But hopefully in the next few days I'll have an update on that. But it's like, it is affecting me. My wife even said it to me. She's like, it's affecting just everything about me. It's affected my golf game. It's affecting everything. But hopefully that will all be over soon. Anyways, the Pistons laying 4.5 in this one. Magic had won 3 in a row, but all those games were at home. They beat the Sixers, and beat sat that game. And then they had 5 straight home games, and they played really well in those. But they've gone on the road, Toronto and Indianapolis, 2 teams that are pretty good, and they've lost both those. They covered against the Pacers, against Indiana Pacers. But I'll tell you, I like the Pistons in this game. I think they finally bounce back. I'm going to take the Pistons. Chattanooga plus 22.5 against Tennessee. I'll tell you, the Vols are for real. There's no reason to go against Tennessee this season, at least not at this point. They're stacked. Rich Barnes can coach. I went against Tennessee, against Washington, and just not ready to do it again. Chattanooga, the Mocs, 3-2 on the season, just 2-2 against the number. Tennessee 4-0, 3-0 at home, 3-1 against the number. They have 1 non-cover at home, and that was against against Asheville. In a game they were laying 27. Meanwhile, last time Alabama State, a team we talked about earlier, they beat them. The spread in that one was 28, and they covered. Chattanooga, last time out, they got smoked by Florida State. This is a worse spot than that. Way worse. And Chattanooga allowing 73 points a game, while Tennessee allowing just 57. I love the Vols here. Thanks for bringing this one up. I'm going to put an asterisk next to that one. I'm going to bet that one too. Yale minus 7.5 against Western Michigan. Yale has played a pretty tough schedule so far. If I don't cover your games, it just means that I have a video out there on YouTube, and you guys can just check it out there. I have the YouTube videos. I go into like extensive detail as to how I get to the picks. I go over I really go over everything. I throw in trends, numbers, everything on those college basketball and NBA videos. So you guys should check those out. If it's a big game with named teams, more than likely there's a video on it. I have no idea what that means, Brandon Ball. No idea, man. If you're giving out your picks, the place to do that is the Facebook group. I don't know, man. We recap all the games at the end, so you don't have to worry about like if you missed one or not. Yeah, there's videos on all the big games, all of them. So be sure to check it out. I think the video picks have been my best picks. I'll be honest with you. When I do, here's a hint for you. When I do over/under on the videos, I'd say 90% of the time I have a pick against the spread that's a premium pick. That's why I do over/under on the video. So that's the answer on that one. Bucknell against Seattle. Be sure to hit the thumbs up. We got 12 thumbs up. 51 people watching and 12 thumbs up. If you guys can hit the thumbs up, greatly appreciated. We got 1 thumbs down. 49 people watching, 14 thumbs up. If you're watching on a phone, you just shrink the comments. You hit the thumbs up, and then you can hit live chat back, and it brings you right back. It helps us a ton. It makes it worth it for me to do this show. I got a comment saying, Bucknell -3 versus Seattle. I love Bucknell. Over the years, they've been really, really kind to us. They've played a fairly tough schedule. I'm trying to find the game. I'm just kind of stalling for time. I'm stalling for time as I look for the game. Bucknell -3 versus Seattle. Bucknell 2-4 in the season, but when you look at who they played, Syracuse, Penn State, who's really good this season, tournament team this year, Canisius, they were favored by 6.5. They lost by a deuce. So not as bad as like being favored by 17 and losing by 17 like we saw South Florida do. They lost to Vermont. I mean, they have played 8. Look at all those losses, right? Vermont, Canisius, Penn State, and Syracuse. Meanwhile, Seattle lost to Mississippi, Syracuse. These are the teams. Washington State, Eastern Washington. These are teams that are like the opponent, and your opponent for today will be. It's like, but Bucknell is the better team in this one. I like them in this spot. I like the numbers. Just show me Bucknell just pretty even defensively, and you got to figure that teams like this that have played schedules like that are going to struggle defensively. Anyways, let's keep rolling right along. Actually, I stopped for a second. That was a text from Wade from Doc Sport too. Actually, we've been on speaking terms lately, and it's nice. You know, it's actually a good thing. So I'm trying to do. I have an idea of something to actually have Wade on the show and kind of do a truce, and we could ask him some direct questions. Yeah, videos on these. I don't have direct plans to go, but I'm thinking about going Wednesday if it's Michigan State, Kansas. If it's Michigan State, Kansas Wednesday, I'll go. And I think also like I would like to. There's some other games I would like to see, but I'm not going to go see Chaminade. I don't believe that they should be in the tournament. I know they're the host team. I just don't think they should be in it. I like the over in this one. But Atlanta's defense just absolutely hideous this season. See, we got time for about one or two more. The one that's on the board? I don't know. So this is the question, right? And this is the game that's on the board. Of course. If I'm at the game, more than likely I would have to do no, actually I'd be fine. Yeah, it's one question per person, and we did this game. Anyways, I'll do one more. We go to NBA again. No one seems to care about that, though. One of the most popular sports out there. Let's see. So, to me, the one that looks the fishiest of the day is the Lakers Spurs, right? It's one of the fishiest lines out there. The Spurs are only 5-point dogs in this thing. They're 6-11, 3-7 against the spread in their last 10, and 2-8 straight up in their last 10 games. The Lakers 14-2 on the season, 6-1 on the road straight up, 9-1 in their last 10 games, and they're favored by 5 against the Spurs. They opened up at 4.5. Something looks fishy. Yep, I love early games in college hoops. I love weekday, daytime sports, and we have it today. Of course, we got it all covered at Pick Dogs, and of course, in our videos, we got tons of free picks. But let's go to the Thunder against the Warriors. The Warriors just terrible. 3-14 on the season. 1-6 at home, 2-5 against the spread at home. The Thunder playing a lot better basketball, 5-10, 0-6 on the, so the Thunder 0-6 on the road, but they're 4-2 against the spread. They're favored by 6 points, even though they haven't won on the road all season long. I know that the Thunder haven't won on the road, but I think this is the spot. I think they get it done. I like the Thunder in this one. Anyways, going to wrap it up. We got no more questions, but we took over 47 in Monday Night Football. We took the Bucks, Loyola, Illinois, VCU, Arkansas. I like that one a lot. The Pistons, Tennessee. I like that one a lot. Bucknell. I kind of like that one a lot too. Over in Minnesota, Atlanta, and hoops, and the Thunder. This is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. Be sure to check out all of our videos over at YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit the thumbs up. And why do I like weekly daytime sports? Why not, man? It's like having Saturday and Sunday every day. You know? It's the best. It's like, why not have sports on all the time? Tennis does it. Soccer does it. Why not just do it? I love it. Baseball does it sometimes. Because this way, you come home in the middle of the day. Instead of throwing on the news, you got Minnesota versus Milwaukee. You know? It's way better. I love it. Weekday, daytime sports. I like, when there's daytime and nighttime. That's why I love it. But anyways, we'll be back about 3:15-ish. Hopefully it's 3:15 with the Puck Dogs. This is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. See you in a few hours.